Polar bears sit at the top of the Arctic food chain, and their diet has been well documented. But now scientists are researching a hungry little carnivore about the size of my hand, sea stars. And can you imagine something as small as this taking down something as big as that?
They look pretty simple, and we always see sea stars as maybe more herbivores or they're eating more plants and more simple organisms, but it's a lot more complex than that.
Sea stars are from the starfish family, and it's believed they can eat as much, or if not more, than a polar bear. And they've even been known to consume an entire polar bear carcass, making them a top predator in the Arctic Ocean of Hudson Bay.
They walk along with their arms on the seafloor, scouring for prey with active predation, but also scavenging on some of the marine mammals.
Yurkowski's part of a research team learning more about these relatively unstudied bottom feeders. And what they've learned is there's a vital nutrient in the sea ice that plays a key role for both polar bears and sea stars' survival.
Sea ice environment, you have little liquid areas inside the sea ice that provide the habitat for the algae to grow.
Ice algae is only available for about 6 weeks a year. And in those weeks, marine mammals eat as much as they can because it's full of important nutrients. Those nutrients are then passed on to the polar bears and sea stars when they consume their prey. But climate change is impacting the thickness of the ice and timing of this critical food cycle.
The idea that these sort of subwebs, the food web that exists at the bottom of the ocean and the food web that exists in the water column, they're very complex on their own right, but they're also intertwined together, sort of intimately linked to form one whole food web in the marine system.
Mundy says in his 25 years studying the North, he's already seen sea ice thickness significantly decline.
When we first started going up there, I would drill through the ice and it would be over 2 meters thick. That was the typical thing we'd see year after year. And now, you know, it's hard to find ice that's over 1.5 meters thick.
And this is why the team believe much more research needs to be done.
It's a unique time to provide some base data or kind of how the system is now that we can model with changes in sea ice or warming temperatures how the food web may look into the future.
Yurkowski and Mundy may not be able to predict the future, but they want to be able to shine a light on these sea stars before it's too late. Fiona Odlum, CBC News, Winnipeg.